Bailey was on had an interview with TV host Christine. Was it Christine Lethy? Uh, which she is part of. She has a sports show or sports interview show on FS1 or Fox Sports. Well, yeah, FS1. So she was talking to Bailey about life as a professional wrestler. And Bailey was on there, and of course she was answering some of the questions until it kind of got Dean Ambrose, Stone Cold territory. And then, as WWE prepares for his move to Fox, multiple current superstars have been going there and talking about that. And there was an awkward exchange between Lethy and Bailey. And it gave the viewers a look more so into professional wrestling. And it was something like this. I have the transcripts right here in front of me. And it says Bailey was talking about the life of professional wrestler and then how it's hard for some people on the road sometimes to, after a show where you got to be there 10, 11, 12 o'clock and you got to go and drive 3 or 4 hours to the next town, and sometimes you get in some sketchy areas that you don't know where you're at and you can run out of gas. It doesn't happen to her, but there are times she let her foot off the gas where she she wouldn't lose the gas and things of that nature. And sometimes you see these ride-alongs where they got superstars riding along, and it's a 20-minute show, and you may sit there and watch ride along and be like, oh, that was a nice 20-minute conversation. You know how much dead air is on that camera they got to edit out? You know how much dead air, the times that they're not talking, or they're probably just sitting there just looking out the window and they try to tell somebody, hey man, stay awake or keep your eye on the road. It ain't as breezy as they make it seem at all, but that's the point of the show. So Christine Lethy, when she finds out that Bailey is like driving herself, she's a SmackDown Women's Champion and she's driving herself. She says, "You driving yourself?" And Bailey says, "Oh yeah, we drive ourselves." And she says, "You don't have a driver?" Bailey says, "No." And Lethy is like, "What?" Bailey says, "Yeah, we do it 5 days a week, so you can't hire a personal driver for 30 superstars 5 days a week." And Lethy said, "I don't know. I think they make a lot of money off you guys." Now Bailey, already looking comfortable, because I seen the clip because they took the clip down, is saying, I think so too, but they take care of us. Right there, before I read any more of the transcript, what is she supposed to say? You put her on. See, a lot of times people don't understand the wrestling business. This wrestling business and this grind has been going on since the 50s. And I have started watching wrestling in 1992. My grandfather, who got me into wrestling, obviously was watching more back in his era of wrestling. And back in those days, especially the 80s and the 90s, if you weren't a wrestling fan, before Vince brought the wrestling market on the mainstream, it was under the radar. It was a joke. What's the famous word? It's fake. It's ballet. They throw fake punches, fake kicks. There's no combat sport. They're falling on mats. They're playing. Grown men in tights is playing with each other. It's gay. This is what people would tell me at school. Well, they didn't get the true definition of what gay was, but still, that's what they would tell me. And because I've been a wrestling fan all my life, and I had to deal with all this kind of criticism. And she says, "Do you want me to negotiate your guys' new CBA? Do you have a CBA?" And Bailey says, "No, but." And then she discusses and says, "Let's make one." Drivers, the CBA is a collective bargaining agreement. They have them in baseball, they have them in football, they have them in basketball, which is a thing where that the players have a thing, like a union kind of thing where they can go up against the league on certain things to help protect the players. There is none of that in WWE. And everybody who doesn't know the horrors of WWE automatically think that if we go and rally up and fight together, we can get this thing done. It don't work like that. If it worked like that, it would have been happened already. JR has said in an interview years ago, a union, an off season, none of that will ever happen because you cannot get a group of wrestlers to agree on where to get lunch in a locker room. And from the stories I've been hearing, that's true. There's different personalities. There's different things. There's people who like to drive. There's people who rather drive and not, rely on somebody else, because when you rely on somebody else, it causes a whole other thing. But I was listening to Solid Monster. He shared a very personal story that I didn't know about. And it got me to thinking. He said, because I was taking my mom home from the doctor's office when I listened to his show. And he said that, would it be so hard? Now, of course, this is the wrestlers. They've done this kind of stuff already. But would it be so hard to rent a bus, 2 buses, and superstars could have that option to get on a bus to travel to the next city? Because it's shocking that you don't hear more stories about superstars dying from falling asleep behind the wheel. And there was one superstar, I forgot what his name was. He said he was a referee who was driving a car with I forgot his name. See, I don't want to butcher the names and stuff like that, who died behind the wheel. But he says that he takes that personally because his dad was a truck driver. And there was a couple times he fell asleep behind the wheel and he had to pull over and get the rest. And that's how his dad died. Not driving a truck, but driving a car. He fell asleep behind the wheel and got in a car accident and died. And that stuff, it hits home to certain people. You sit there and you think, like, these wrestlers, because you get major heat if you were the first match on and you leave to get a head start. You wait till the show's over. That's the written rule, the unwritten rule, and anything of that nature. So imagine if Bayley has a match where she has to go, say if it's this storyline she's in right now, say if she got to do a 7-minute match with Alexa Bliss and then a 10-minute match with Nikki Cross. Then she got to go back and shower. Then she got to wait, let this 3-hour Raw go past, or 2 hours, that doesn't matter. Wait till, because it ain't just like, okay, it's 11 o'clock, I'm out. You got to shut everything down. These people got to put all this stuff, the ring and everything, back into the locker room. You think when we left the Wells Fargo Center, a couple times when we went to go see Royal Rumble or Battleground or Raw or SmackDown back all them years ago, them cameramen and them referees come out there, they break that ring down as we're leaving. They still got to take all that shit with them on trucks. So it ain't that easy. And then you got to try to book a ride with somebody. Or you got to rent a car because people ain't always bringing their cars everywhere with them. And they got to drive the next town. They got to stay awake and drive the next town, and then try to get themselves some sleep or something like that. Man, that shit's hard. And it caught Bayley off guard because now Bayley, I guarantee y'all, and for those wrestling fans that knows, Bayley knows that this shit is bullshit. Bayley knows that WWE makes a lot of money when you got was it 10 million or no 50 million or something $billion contract negotiation with Saudi Arabia. You got yourself $5 billion something dollars coming from Fox for you to put your SmackDown Network on there. They got bread. This is the Raw SmackDown may suck and the ratings may be low, but here's the thing. This is the most WWE has made money wise, period. And don't forget that every time something happens, WWE is putting a name and a face on something to make sure that they get paid for that. Because there's a lot of superstars in the back that WWE makes a lot of money off of. A lot. This is the richest they have ever been. So to afford, it ain't that to buy. If to afford to say, look, you will want your superstars that make you money to make sure they get to the next town safely. there's I think we can say the off-season debate is done. Okay, we're not even worried about that, but just to have some type of thing, like if they want to say, hey, yo, if we need to be in this time, because right now there's no more brand split, don't look like, so everybody go to the same place. So if you hire a couple buses and say, look, here's an option. We got buses that will take you guys to where you need to go. Because I would love, because if it was me, if I gotta work on Raw and stay there for 3 hours and watch a boring show, but I can't tell the boss that, I can go right there and go right on the bus and go to sleep. Don't nobody gotta buy these. The buses that WWE can afford has beds on them. You know, you can go in there and buy yourself a traveling bus, and they got a kitchen, and they got bathrooms, and they got like double-decker ones, and they got whole beds on there. You rest assured, and then these bus drivers, that's what they get paid to do. You get a couple bus drivers, one take over one shift, one take over another shift, and they just drive. You go lay up on that bed with the air conditioner on, and shit, I go right to bed. And then when I wake up a little bit while I'm at the hotel where I'm at, and then I go in there, check in, go right back to bed. I think it'll be beneficial. Every guy's not going to do it. Every girl's not going to do it. But there's that option. There is that option. And it's just that when wrestling does fly under the radar for so many years, so long, and then now when this is bringing to people's attention, like the whole John Oliver thing, people are literally shocked and surprised that this is happening to fake wrestlers. Yes. When I watch, Deck Ops, I'm a huge fan of his stuff, that Chris Danger stuff. He's a friend of Xavier Woods. For his birthday, Xavier Woods took him out to a wrestling ring and take some wrestling bumps. You should have seen the bruises. He came back with. Now, Chris Danger is obviously not a stout or thick guy. He's a skinny guy. And the bruises he took, he couldn't even walk the next morning. Throwing up, all that kind of stuff. This is the next morning. So imagine the people that gotta do this shit every night. It's a hard life that if you don't lace up the boots, like they had that commercial, the WWE commercial, back in 1998. They had Ahmed Johnson, Ken Shamrock, Undertaker, Stone Cold in there, and I remember. It was a good commercial, and the Stone Cold ended with the line says, "You don't think this is real? Then try lacing my boots." Now, who's going to pay attention? They just think it's a regular wrestling commercial. Some average person probably think it's a wrestling commercial for ice cream. But in reality, it's trying to let you know that, you can't just go from profession to profession and automatically think that it's going to be a cakewalk because of what you assume is going to happen, and then you get shocked that when people go through when people educate themselves and learn things, that's how you get by and stuff like that. So that's how the interview went. Bayley was very uncomfortable in the interview, and I felt bad for her, but that's what was presented, and there's no way of getting out of that, and I really did feel bad for her. But that's just sometimes how the wrestling business is. Does it need to change? Absolutely. But, what you going to do about it?